Hello, welcome back to Flawed TMI. Here I am again. And I don't know, where I am right now, I'm loving this location, so I may actually film here a little bit more often. So, at any way, salutations to you all. Thank you for investing in me, and I'm investing in you. And you know the routine is raw footage, so therefore, noise, pedestrian, life, whatever happens, is going to make it inside. So I'm just letting you guys know it is what it is. So with that being said, little water in the background, but hey, water never harmed anyone. Ha ha ha. Anyway, welcome back, you guys. So today, just trying out a few little newness. Kind of frightened because I'm getting ready to go inside here to see what the subject matter is of the day. So without knowing anything, it makes me a little apprehensive, but it is my life. So if I've already lived it, you can fear the unknown, but this is something that's of the past. So let's dig in and see what it is. So what today's subject matter is, drum roll please. Okay, you have a couple of them sticking together. This one is, ooh, the W in my flawed life, and W standing for weakness. And one of my weaknesses I put on here is sex. So I guess I really picked an interesting subject for today. So as for sex being my weakness, that's an interesting broad spectrum of how to view that. Looking at, and please forgive me for the because that kind of, I was thinking of something a little bit light and upbeat, but it is my life. Sex for me became such a weird sense of empowerment for me. I came from, like I said, an abusive background, and I was sexually assaulted, which I just come to terms with, because to me, since it happened from a female and I enjoyed it, I never viewed it as being any type of assault. It happened, between the ages of, it started at 9 and probably went on until about 11, 12. And I never viewed it as anything that was harmful because, once again, it felt good. I was getting what I thought was positive attention because I had a grandmother who wasn't my grandmother, who was physically abusive, towards me. And I just thought that, wow, this person is spending time with me, I guess making me follow into her footsteps. She was my babysitter. So I'm just thinking, okay, everything is all good. Never thought of it would actually create a foundation of that's what I sought from this day forward. I honestly thought that sex was my way of being able to deal with pain. Not really looking at it as abandonment issues because of not having parents there, neither a mother nor a father. So I just look at it as it felt good, go do it. So that made me become sexually adventurous at a very early age. Because she introduced me to it, I felt like I had the right to say yes and no. And I went out and I sought it, and I lived in Tennessee. So in Tennessee, when they say life is slow, they mean that maybe sometimes the people may be a little bit slow, but trust me, the blocks and the neighborhoods were never, ever slow. There was always something going on. The little old ladies who sit on the porch, they pay attention to the front door, but they never paid attention to the back door or the side door. So you never ever, you were able to get away with things if you wanted to get away with things. And I did. I took advantage of it because the grandmother, she always had ladies meetings. She was in church. She was always out and about doing things. And I found ways to create a situation. And sometimes they weren't in the positive of places. There were times that I was You gotta love this sound in the background. Goose. Duck, duck, goose. Anyway, um, maybe he doesn't like the content, so let me rush it on through. So there were times that I actually engaged in sexual activities in places that you should not have. I remember once I had sex in church. You know, this place right here, not a judgment. You know, please no judgment. Although I'm quite certain someone may leave a comment, but it is my truth. There were times and places that I've gone over to family functions or whatever, because it was the only way I could mask the pain that I was feeling. And so you fast forward to your adult life, even, I still just looked at sex as I was able to separate it from me. It was like people say, well, how are you able to have sex and not be in love? You got to keep in mind the first thing that was introduced to me was sex. Love was never ever introduced. I never ever had the introduction of, family love or, sibling love or love of a community. I never had that. So the only thing that I knew was to have sex. So that became my empowerment. When I got married, I tried fidelity, to make it work, because growing up, I thought love was the thing you were supposed to do. I just sat back and thought that, you were supposed to say, I do, move on, and there you are. That wasn't what I'd done. I first marriage, end up getting that annulled, because guess what? It wasn't my fault on that one, because I just did not want, he didn't know who he was, I didn't know who I was, so we were too young. Second marriage, I wanted to have children, did not want to have children out of wedlock. Third marriage, we met at a sex party. So, who thought that would have lasted? Ha, ha, ha. So, we met at a sex party. A few months later, we were married. Go figure. So I learned that sex was my way of being able to deal with things. I have had some prowess that I sat back and I went after, people who were not obtainable, whether they were married, male or female, whatever the circumstances may have been. And this is why, one of the circumstances as to why I'm taking the time to have this channel to clear up, because it comes a time when I have to look at myself and tell myself, something, you need to slow down. That was not right. But I'm not looking at what was right. I'm looking at what was learned. This was my learned behavior. And I am a work in progress still. I may be a certain age, and I hate when people sit back and say, well, you're old enough to know better. You're not old enough to know better if this is where I came from. This is my foundation. They always tell you, whenever you mess up, go back to your foundation. Well, my foundation was a up foundation. So what am I supposed to do at that point? I love the people that I have engaged in sexual activity with. There are some people that are still in my life, and there are some people that should never be in my life, but yet there's a chemistry. Flawed. I'm working on it. I'm hoping individuals out there can give me tidbits on how to work through it. I love when people sit back and say, well, you should go to church. You should pray it off of you. You should trust me, I'm a very spiritual individual. I, at one point, was a very religious individual, to a point that I was going outside of this religion to that religion to the next religion to find something that fit. When something is broken at the core, we have to accept that it is broken at the core, and we have to find a way to resolve it or mend it. And right now, I'm working on how to mend my situation. So I am still that sexual being. I love the sex that I get. I mean, it feels good. So what am I to do? So, like I said, this was an interesting subject that I wasn't quite ready on. I mean, I put it inside, hoping that the universe will kind of shift it for when I am ready. So I guess today I am ready. So with that being said, for everyone that's out there, just know I am not looking for something behind a green door. I have had only one true love in my life, one true love, and he know who he is. And with that being said, we still hit and miss each other, but thank God, thank the universe, he is not in my state. So that kind of keep us off of each other. But he has traveled to this state, I have traveled to his state. It's just toxic. It's toxic. He is a married person, so I'm praying that off of my spirit, my energy, because there's nothing good that can come of it. It's just that, sadly, this man has been a part of my mentality for almost 3 decades. So what am I to do? So please, please, please pray for me, because it is a weakness. It is a weakness. It is a flaw. To my core is a flaw. But in my alone moments is what comes to me, is what comforts me. And I hate to say that it's a comfort, but it is a comfort. So that's today's blog. We're in Leo season. So with us being in Leo season, I guess Leo being a fire sign, I'm bringing you heat, God bringing us sun. I guess let's keep it going. So I got a lot of Leos that I'm going to be sending a lot of happy birthdays out to. So I'm starting you guys out with the heat. You guys leave your comments, share with me, like, by all means, please like the content, because at the end of the day, I really am seeking a better me. And I'm hoping with the better me that something in you say, you know something, let us work on this together. Because when we go to the gym, we look for that workout buddy. So right now, let's work this out together. Let's work this out together. And then subscribe. You know, come on, give me some support. And notifications, because I'm going to be here. I'm going to talk to myself regardless. So make yourself a part of my journey. Invest in me, I invest in you, we invest in each other. TMI.